This video is going to be another one of my discussion style videos, which I haven't done in a while. And I'll say a couple things. First, this is not intended to be any kind of clickbait. And the other thing that I want to say is I wish everybody on the planet would be on a mountain bike, whether it's an e-bike or a regular bike. The more people who ride trails, the more trails we're going to have, the more access we're going to have. And so I want everybody to enjoy being on a mountain bike, being healthy, being outside, and enjoying this awesome sport. So you've seen the title of the video, and this came up from a discussion that I had with a friend of mine on the trails today. So I ran into a friend of mine and another friend. They were both riding together, not literally run into them, but just had a discussion about something that made me think about this topic. Now, I kind of have mentioned this when I did my pros and cons about e-bikes, and I had a demo of an e-bike from Niner that I really enjoyed. Like I really had fun on that bike. I had it for 2 or 3 months, and I am all for e-bikes if they help people to get outside and ride, especially if it helps people to ride with a partner or with friends where the skill levels are not the same, or someone who has physical limitations that keep them from riding a regular bike. So e-bikes have their purpose and they're a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons, and I'm not really going to get into that list because I've covered that in another video. And one more pro about e-bikes that I just want to mention is the fact that they can allow you to cover a lot of miles where you couldn't do it on a regular bike. And especially if you're shuttling to save gas on a vehicle versus riding an e-bike, it's better for the environment. Now, I don't think e-bikes are all that great for the environment because of the batteries, but that's a whole other topic. The main topic that I want to talk about today is probably the main problem that I have with people being on e-bikes that have the bikes on the highest level as soon as they get it before they learn to properly ride trails. So I mentioned that I ran into a friend of mine, and he told me that recently, like it was last week or very recently, that on our local trails, and I've seen this, and which is why I'm making this video, he came around a corner and there was a guy absolutely pinning it on an e-bike, and the guy did not have the skill level to slow down and avoid him, and he bumped my friend off the trail. I can't remember if he told me if he crashed or if he just got run off the trail, but the guy on the e-bike, because he couldn't control it, literally ran into him and bumped him off the trail. Thank goodness it was a pretty benign issue where it could have been a head-on collision and it could have been much, much more serious. And my friend's a dentist, so you know that could put him out of work for a while if it was a head-on collision and there was a serious injury. So the point of this, like I said, is the main problem I have with e-bikes, and that is people who get on an e-bike, have it on the highest setting before they've properly developed their skills. And my YouTube channel is about enjoying cycling, whether it's learning about bikes or learning about how to work on your bike or just enjoying the sport, getting people amped to go out and ride, but also safety. I want everybody who rides to be as safe as possible. And mountain biking is not the safest sport in the world. We all know that. We take our risks. It's worth it for those of us who ride. But the more we can do to make it safer, the better. And developing skills and not trying to do things too fast, too quickly, is one of the ways that we can enjoy mountain biking safely. And so I've seen this happen. I've seen people get on e-bikes. They have the bikes going too fast, and they haven't learned how to properly handle the bike. So I've spent years, and trust me, I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else, but I've developed skills as a rider. You know, all of us are better than other people at something, right? I mean, that's just life. But, you know, I've spent years and years from my BMX days and then into mountain biking of learning how to handle the bike. And there's so much that goes into mountain biking versus even riding on the road. Learning how to feather the brakes into a corner, learning how to corner, learning how to avoid objects, learning how to hop over objects when you need to. And so if you get on an e-bike and you haven't developed those skills, you're going to be coming in the corners too fast. In the case of my friend, you may have to slow the bike down quickly and you don't have the skill to do it. It takes skill to slow a mountain bike, whether it's a a sideways slide that you got to do with an emergency steer, or learning how to use the front and the rear brake at the same time, shifting your weight back so you don't go over the bars, learning the right amount of pressure on the bikes, how the tires are going to respond, how to maybe, like I said, hop over a rock or a root suddenly that, if it comes around a corner. And so people who are going too fast on an e-bike before they've developed those skills can either hurt themselves or hurt other people at the same time. And I want to see that avoided. I want to see people, again, enjoy the sport and do it safely. So that's, and I'll mention one more issue that I have with e-bikes that I've noticed, is that people are riding e-bikes on trails that don't allow e-bikes. And I've seen that in Pisgah National Forest. Like I was climbing a Clawhammer on the dirt road going up to the single track, and I had a guy just fly past me on an e-bike. Well, e-bikes are not allowed in Pisgah right now. Maybe they will be in the future, and I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. What I'm saying is, if you ride e-bikes on trails where they don't allow them, you could jeopardize trail access for the rest of us. And so that's probably the other main issue I have with e-bikes. It's not e-bikes themselves. It's not even fit riders who like to enjoy riding e-bikes, because I have friends that do that, right? They ride regular bikes and they ride e-bikes, and they do it because they just enjoy it. I'm all for that, trust me, 100%. Not against e-bikes. I am, and I'll not use the word against, I am for mountain bikers developing their skills before they try to do too much too fast. That applies to regular bikes. I mean, there's trails that some people shouldn't ride until they've progressed into the skills to ride those trails. And whether it's a jump line, whether it's a black diamond or double black diamond, being on those trails before they've developed the skills can cause harm. And so that is again the main thing I want to mention in this video. So I hope you understand. I hope I've explained by now that I'm in no way saying I'm against e-bikes. Please, if you have an e-bike, if you get into e-biking, you're newer to mountain biking, set the e-bike on a lower setting so you're not going as fast. Learn how to use the bike properly, the brakes, the cornering, how the bike's going to respond, and then go fast when you feel like you're ready for it. And developing mountain bike skills is not something you develop in a week. Okay, you don't get into mountain biking and then a week later you are competent enough to set the e-bike on the highest setting around really tight turns and on trails where you can't see people coming or you can't see the obstacles coming your way. I just think that you're better off progressing. And when I say progressing, it could take you a year to progress to where and now listen, you can set the e-bike on the highest setting on certain situations, right? I mean, if you're climbing up a hill or it's wide open, you can see what's around the corner. The trail's not that technical. The speed is not going to cause you to jeopardize yourself. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is on those types of trails where you going slower and progressing better is safer, then that's what I'm saying. So again, I hope you understand what I'm saying with this video. It's not intended to stir up any kind of like crazy controversy, because honestly, e-bikes are probably one of the most controversial topics right now in mountain biking. It's just the way it is. I don't want to stir up anything. What I am saying is progress your skills, enjoy the sport, and do it as safe as possible. So that'll wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching.